pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Danker, would you do the roll call, please?
Councilmember Enright. I'm sorry, Mayor Steen.
Here.
Councilmember at Large Anderson.
Present.
Councilmember King.
Present.
Austin.
Present.
Helly.
Present.
Hagan. Fisher.
Present.
We have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you. Number one is a motion for adoption of the agenda. We need a motion.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number two is a motion approving the minutes from June 18, 2018. Need a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number four, under consent agenda is a motion, well, we need a motion for the consent agenda. I don't think there's any changes on there.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Under public hearing, number five is a resolution reviewing a tax abatement application from Sean Somecki, Midwest Cabinetry and Millwork, LLC. Craig.
Thank you, Mayor, members. And included in your packet is an abatement application for 1905 13th Avenue Northeast. This is in the Nature's Ridge subdivision. This is a spec home. Just for members' background information, since we've had the program started, we've had over $16 million in value since the program started in 2016. 23 approvals through the city and 44 in the county. The application is in conformance with the adopted policy from the City Council. This is a public hearing, and an approval or denial of the abatement is in order.
Council?
I'd make the motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Is there anybody else on the council? This is a public hearing, so before we can approve it, we have to open it to the public. Is there anybody here that wishes to address us on this matter? If not, are we supposed to ask for written or oral things?
Just public pass.
Okay, so we're ready to go. Well, with that, we need a resolution to approve or deny the tax abatement.
So moved. Resolution.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Steve, and then we had a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye. It's a
Opposed?
resolution.
It's a resolution.
Tom?
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 5-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Under bid opening and award, 6 is a resolution receiving bids for Oakland Place and 12th Street Southeast pedestrian improvements. Mr. Lang.
Yes, we've identified in our CIP installing a rapid flashing beacon for pedestrians to cross here. This is right near the Ankeny gas station that's by the Eastside Lake Dam, right there at 12th Street. This would allow students and pedestrians, trail users, anyone trying to cross there on Oakland the ability. It'd be the push button style, similar to styles that we've installed around the community. This one is a little bit more expensive. We received bids from, with the low bidder being Gary Grow Construction, $31,128. And the reason for the extra cost on this one is we have some ped ramp improvements that we're going to make at that intersection as well. So those are ADA compliant. We also have a little bit of pavement repair there as well. So a combination of things are going to go into funding this. We have a $14,000 Hormel Foundation grant. We've budgeted $7,000 through our capital improvement revolving fund, and then we'll also utilize $10,000 from our miscellaneous concrete repair for this project.
Council, do you have any questions, comments? If not, we need a resolution awarding the bid.
So move the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 5-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Under petitions and requests, 7 is a resolution approving the carryover of funds from 2017 budget adjustment. We do this every year. Tom, does anybody have any questions on it? Otherwise, we need a resolution for 7.
So moved the
Is
resolution.
there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 5-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Number 8 is a resolution approving additional engineering services on the Turtle Creek Flood Control Project. Mr. Lang?
Yes, on this project, we've been working on this since 2013 with Bolton and Menk. And just through that process, there's been changes in the design, changes in alignment, different things that have caused them to incur extra costs. Some of those items involve comment review from FEMA and the DNR, things like that. So in this case, we are pretty much 100% complete with our plans. They've been submitted to the DNR and FEMA. We've gotten their comments back, and then we had to make some corrections. So some of those costs involved in making those corrections are involved here. We have a recommendation for an amendment to their original grant amount in the amount of $46,390. This would be funded using 50% local option sales tax and 50% DNR dollars. And this would bring their total engineering cost for this project to $259,412.
Council, anything, questions, comments? If not, we need a resolution for number 8.
So move.
Is there a second? Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 5-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 9 is a resolution approving additional engineering services on the North Main Street Flood Control Project. Mr. Lang.
Very similarly here with SCH, you all know that the Phase 1 project across the street was very complex with the design, working with the architects for the rec center and also the contractors for the demolition project, trying to coordinate all of those things, making sure everything ties together. We incurred some extra cost with SEH as part of that to accommodate those things. A cost of $29,900 to fulfill their work for this design contract. It would bring their total cost to $226,440. In this case, 100% of these extra costs would be paid for with our local option sales tax.
Council? Nothing further. We need a resolution.
So move the resolution?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 5-0, Your Honor.
Okay. 10 is a resolution approving a grant application for Turtle Creek Flood Control Project. Stephen.
Yes, now the good news, some more money coming in on this project. We currently have about $1,150,000 set aside for our Turtle Creek levee project. As I just described, we're 100% complete with the plans. The FEMA currently has them for review, and as far as I know, we've met all of their requirements. They may come back with something else, but we've met everything to date. So we're looking for approval on that project from FEMA. The estimated project cost is $4.5 million, and that would be funded with 50% local option sales tax and 50% DNR dollars. So like I said, we have $1.15 million in the bank, and we need a little over $1 million more for that matching DNR funds. So with the bonding bill, the newly passed bonding bill, there is dollars available for Austin for this project. Working with our contact at the DNR, we've identified $1.2 million to go with our current $1.15 million for a total DNR allotment of $2.35 million for this project. We would then match it with 50% local option sales tax for a $4.7 million project. So we would recommend, what are we looking for on this? What we're doing, this first step is to confirm to the DNR that we have the matching funds for this. So that would be the first step, is to pass a attached resolution indicating that we would use our local option sales tax for matching funds.
And this would be next year's grant then?
Yeah, the plan would be for, if everything comes through, 2019 construction.
Excellent. Council?
Just to remind me, or either you or Tom, what is our annual revenue for local option sales tax?
Approximately $1.4 million coming in.
So we've got additional coming in.
We've got dollars in the bank from prior years that have not been spent yet.
Thank you.
Anything else? Now we need a resolution for 10.
So move the resolution.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 5-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 11 is a resolution approving a gambling premises application for the Fraternal Order of Eagles 703 at the Angry Hog Brewery and Tap Room. Ann, is this you? Don't have a name on it.
Yeah, you can just pass it.
State statutes require council to approve the permit application, and The Fraternal Order of the Eagles has been in compliance with our existing ordinance regarding gambling in the past.
Okay. Council, anything? If not, we need a resolution.
So moved, resolution.
There's a second. Tom?
Councilmember King,
Aye.
Austin,
Aye.
Helly,
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 5-0, Your Honor.
Thank you, and we are taking C off on number 12 here. It's been cleaned up, Stephen, or? Correct. Okay, so 12 is two motions granting the Planning and Zoning Department the power to contract for the removal of junk and/or illegally stored vehicles at the following location. A, 507 South Main, the Romero property. Need a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? B, 1103 21st Avenue Southwest, J.P. Morgan property. Need a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're done with our regular council meeting, which is pretty close to a record. We'll get over the 5 more minutes. Are there any citizens here that came here to address the council on any matter? Yes, sir. Why don't you give us your name, your address, and tell us what a good job we're doing on something. Please.
I'm Chris Chickering. I retired 7 years ago from the Austin Utilities.
Okay.
And I like Austin.
Good.
Why I'm here is, let's make the story short as I can. We purchased a all-terrain vehicle. It's a side-by-side with the steering wheels and the disc brakes and the roll bars and the lights and everything. And the reason we purchased it, I had stopped down to the police department and I wanted to know how you could drive these in town because I seen them in town. And my buddy here, Dave Lamont, he's been driving one in town for about 3 years.
Where do you live? Just kidding.
So anyway, it probably wasn't the right thing to do, but I asked the gals at the window because there's nobody else around, and how these people were driving these around, and they said, well, if you got your DNR sticker that you get, then you got license, and you got brakes, and you got everything that they want on these, you're good to go. And so I thought, well, that's, you and I can do this. And so then I went over to, I said, I'm going to stop at the Department of Motor Vehicle, because I want to do this right. I don't want to lay this money out there and not have it right. So I stopped over there and I talked to, what's the man's name that owns that nice guy?
Stephen?
Yeah, and he was saying he had called over a couple of times to the police department. And he got the same thing. He says, as long as they got this going and they're up to snuff on this.
Who did he check with?
I don't know who he called, who he talked to. But he said,
well, when I went down there, I did the same thing Chris did. When I went to the police, I went down to actually see if I could legally license it like a car. And because it doesn't meet the weight requirement, I could not do that. And that's what they checked, and they suggest I go to the city and check for ordinances, which I did. Went to the police department, and nobody could tell me that it was not legal to drive them on the streets. That's one of the reasons we're here tonight.
You got a ticket.
no.
You didn't get a ticket.
You guys are close to the mic.
Not yet.
Oh.
People at home can't hear you.
They probably don't know. Anyway, so what happens is, they said, well, this is a lot of money. But you know, I'm not a Corvette guy, and I can use this thing and put it on a trailer or whatever and take it California and go on the sand dunes, and 70-year-old man, so you can still do it, I want to do it.
Just can't drive it out there.
Yeah, I know. Well, so anyway, the wife and I were in Blooming Prairie, and we're looking at these, these are called CF Motos, or these machines, and I'm talking to the owner of the place there, the mechanic, and I said, my thing is, I know people driving in town, and the word is, you're good to go if you got all this other stuff. And he said, oh yeah, he says, I got a couple of guys in town in Austin that's driving. And by the way, I think I've seen 2 today. But anyway, I said, well, and the wife is crazier about it than I am, because we have friends that got it. And he said, $11,000 later, we have one. And it's just neat to drive and just go down to the gas station or wherever to get a paper or whatever. And then it's nice to go out in the country. It's nice to go out in the country and get on the gravel roads or wherever and have some fun. And they're pretty safe. They are built, they got roll bars and disc brakes and they're pretty...
Signal lights, brake lights.
So why are you here?
Well, my wife goes to the YMCA the other night, and she comes home and a couple officers in a car follow her into the driveway. I said, wow, she's attracted attention. And they informed us that it was not street legal in Austin.
Who informed you? Police?
Yes.
Police officers.
I forget the officer's name. There was two of them, but yeah, they were very pleasant. I understood their situation, and when you explained what had happened, and he said, "I'm sorry, but you can't drive." So then I went down and talked to this gentleman here, and he had concerns like I had concerns. I want it right, and he wants it right, and sounds like he's not against it. And he
Just has to follow the law.
Yeah, and that's what he wants, and that's what we want. We want it right, and so that's,
So where are we at?
this is it. We just started. We just,
Dave, is it Dave, okay, Dave, give us your side. Not your side, the other. Your perspective. I don't want to put it in one side or the other.
There are a wide variety of different vehicle classes in Minnesota. I did send the council something from the league that kind of addresses and goes over the numerous types. There's ATVs, there's 2 different classes, there's UTVs, mini trucks, golf carts, neighborhood electric vehicles, all kind of fall under different areas of statute, and it can get a little confusing. It can get a little confusing even for the officers.
Obviously.
20 and when that happens, it's tough to stop someone and say you're doing something you shouldn't be if you don't have a firm grasp of the law. So sometimes if it's not causing any harm, they may not stop
So
just
the answer
because
to
they're
this
not
is
sure.
to make sure our officers don't have a firm grasp of the law?
Well, the
Everybody
officers
will
do
be
have a
happy.
firm grasp of the law because they have been educated on it.
Okay.
We sent, as this has developed, you went from ATVs that were probably 250 cc's 25, 30 years ago, and you have this huge recreational market for ATVs
Right.
that's taken off. You get big ones, thousands, just monstrous ones, because in northern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, there's a lot of recreational value. The same thing has happened with the side-by-side class of utility task vehicles. I remember 30 years ago working for Park and Rec in Aberdeen, South Dakota, I drove a John Deere Gator. It wasn't recreational. Park and Rec's probably had them here forever. We use them for husbandry. Golf courses have them, but somewhere along the way they figured out these are great recreational things to have. You can talk to your partner that you're with as you go down the trails. Economically, to revitalize northern Minnesota, trail riding became a big thing. Polaris, one of our state manufacturers, produces a line of UTVs. And so you really saw them taking off. And the last 3 or 4 years, we've really gotten a lot more people asking about them. We've seen a lot more on our roadways, and we know that going in the future, we're probably going to see more. Last year in July, it was someone who wanted a neighborhood electrical vehicle that really got us digging back into this. Shelley King with the city attorney's office on the criminal side found something that the league had sent out, which I distributed to the council today, that gives us a good overview of what those laws are. And again, they can be confusing, because traditionally with ATVs, there was some limited use within a city if you were on a state or county road. And some of our roads, I'll defer to Stephen, I think are state and county roads, even within the city. Yeah. And so that kind of complicates it, and kind of on-the-spot legal advice from an officer or the gals who work for the sheriff's department probably aren't going quite into that depth. The utility task vehicles are a little different, but the state does allow a municipality to permit those vehicles if they so choose. The hang-up here being, in last October, we sent all of our officers that League of Minnesota Cities guidance and said, we can't have the UTVs, because we were getting other citizens other than the riders also asking us about the utility. So October, all the officers got it. In May of this year, they were reminded, it's summertime, we'll be seeing these again. These are the league's guidelines on how those vehicles have to legally be treated. All that being said, a city has to proactively put an ordinance in place to let them operate. And that's the issue here, is Austin has no ordinance that allows them to operate, and in the lack of an ordinance, they cannot operate, is the opinion we got from from the city attorney.
And I take it yours is one of the vehicles that is restricted.
Yes, it's,
Correct.
So is this common for cities to do? Maybe, I mean, we can look into it.
In our area, I'm not sure how common it is. I found one that Red Wing had just doing a quick search today. They're also including ATVs, which again are different than UTVs. What these gentlemen seem to want is a utility task vehicle, recreational, to ride it recreationally in Austin or for general errands in Austin, that does have some definitions under the part of statute that sets guidance on UTVs, mini trucks, and golf carts, I believe. So I think some of that would be out there. That particular statute is, and again, there's reference to it in the league guidelines I sent out, but I can certainly send the council that specific statute for overview that spells out, obeyance of traffic laws. It doesn't say what equipment you have, but it says, how you're held accountable with the equipment statute. There's an insurance piece there at the end.
Okay.
And so from my position, I've talked to the Chief Krieger about it, because we actually had another gentleman we warned 2 or 3 weeks ago that came to lobby. He's not here tonight, but we had the same discussion with him. The police department's not opposed to it. I'm not going to tell you there's some great danger. We allow motorcycles and mopeds that have a lot less protection for the occupant.
All right, it sounds to me what we need to do, there's 2 questions. Can we do something, which apparently we can? Number 2, do we want to? I mean, you're giving us one side. What's the other side? There's 2 sides.
We don't want sides.
No.
We'd like to work with the police department.
Right, but there's,
We just want a definition, make it legal so we can drive them on the streets.
well, you'd need an ordinance. You'd need
Can we
a.
just task?
Just a little closer
I'm
to the
sorry.
mic.
David should be doing this.
Why don't we just task somebody like Holly with exploring the ordinances and get us back in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, well, why don't we do that? And if you guys can come up with some ordinances that some cities had, we'll check into it. And, if there's not a good argument against it, it's no reason not to do it.
just a little sidebar to it, I had a moped 50 for several years here, and it just got to the point where a moped is really a dangerous little item, because you don't have the power to get away, and you
Well,
got
you know-
people right up on top of you. I know you're a bike guy, but
I get behind those mopeds and it drives me nuts, but
I
I
know,
know what
and
you're saying.
these are so much safer,
Yeah.
and it's you feel like you're just basically in a smaller car.
And I don't get me wrong, I mean, I slow up and the mopeds are fine. I just wish they'd pull over once in a while when traffic got behind them. But why don't we, isn't that the law?
Did you
Can we
have
make that a law too? As long as we're at it. Let us do some research on it. Can you give your names to
Sure.
Ann, get their names. Let us do some research and we will contact you. Well, we'll do some research, we'll get an idea, and then maybe we'll put it at a work session in another 3 or 4 weeks.
Thank you.
Okay?
Very good,
Thank you.
thanks.
There goes our record. All right, that's fine, that's fine.
another
That's what
gentleman.
we're here for. Sir, did you want to address us also? They did pretty good. I mean, if you got a complaint, this is the time to bring it up. No? Okay. All right. Reports. Let's start with the birthday boy,
Nothing, Your Honor.
Jeff.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Enjoy Freedom Fest kicking off tomorrow. Well, it's actually already started, but lots of activities tomorrow and on the 4th. So all that information is out there. It's on the city website and brochures all over the place. So please enjoy.
Lots to do. Laura?
I wanted to mention that the Austin Artwork Center currently has an exhibit of photos called Powering Down by Mark Lingle, which is the documenting the demolition of the historic downtown power plant. So I know a lot of people have connections to that building for one reason or another, and Austin Utilities retirees and so forth might be interested in seeing the photos. There's some really great ones, and that will be up until August 18th. I also want to mention that there will be a multicultural unit marching in the parade on July 4th. So if you're interested in joining a parade and walk the route, contact me and I'll get you hooked up with that. They are always looking for flag bearers to carry all the flags.
Thanks, Laura. Paul?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Greg?
No, I have no
No
reports.
reports? All right, I don't have anything except go out and enjoy the 4th, and we'll take a short break, and then we'll meet in the small conference room across the hall and celebrate Stephen's 57th birthday.
Wow.